Bonjour, everyone. Hi, I'm Neshi Locatz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page and this morning's live stream about today's card draw. And so good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, July 19th. July 19th. I have been anxiously and excitedly waiting for this day, Thursday, July 19th. Why? We start a brand new show today, live stream show this evening called Nature Adventures with my co-host, Minnie Kansman. She's one of my sisters, and she also is a contributing writer for Star Nations magazine. And today, this evening, we start our brand new show, and it's very exciting. I hope you guys are going to like it. I hope you can join us in the chat room, in the live chat tonight. Our first show, our premiere show, is all about St. Francis and how he connected with nature, and how he and nature, worked together, and how he would be recharging his batteries, literally, in nature. So I hope you guys can join us. Minnie has some fantastic pictures from Italy, St. Francis, and his hermitage and all of that. So I hope you can join us. I can't wait for it. I'm excited about it. Yes, I am. So today, I'm up here at Star Nations Academy broadcasting. This has turned out to be my broadcasting studio. I do all the shows up here, and I like it. Why? Because it's much more quiet than my house is. And it's not like my house is, noisy, but, to do a broadcast and not have a lot of ambient noise and that kind of thing is nice. Because every once in a while, my mom will drop something or she doesn't remember that I'm on a broadcast, and she'll call for me. Usually it's nothing major or anything like that. It's, just to tell me what's on the news. And sometimes I don't want to hear that about the news. Okay, so this morning, the card draw this morning. You know what? I was wondering if you guys could do me a favor. The live stream, how it looks on my computer screen looks a little different. And I was hoping, could somebody who's in the live stream make a comment in the chat, in the live comments section, just even if you just say hello, that would be great. I'm just checking to see if the comments show up here. Otherwise, I won't be able to see them. I'll have to use my phone, which is all right. I mean, we've done it before. So it would be nice if you guys could help me out with that. This morning's card draw is an interesting one because we haven't had this card in, oh gosh, a long time. I think the last time we had it was in May, and I think it's only come up maybe once or twice. And I think with the communication stuff that we've been talking about in the last couple of days, this is a great card for it. This is who showed up today. Smoke signals. It's about intent. And take a look at that artwork. Smoke signals. Yeah. I'm going to check my phone to see if there's comments for the live stream, because I'm not seeing them in the chat. So hang on just a second. My phone is looking for the internet. Come on, wake up, little Susie. There. All right. Now we just need to go to the main fan page for Star Nations. Oops. All right. Where are we? Well, I can, you know what? It'd be helpful if I was on the right page. I was on the publishing page. Here we are. There we are. See, I can see your comments now using my phone. Hey, Stephanie. And Nellie's here. Hi, Nellie. And oh gosh, I don't know what it is with Facebook. We've been having issues with comments in the live chat, and I thought it was the Be Live TV app. But I don't think it is. I think it's Facebook. So anyway, I will get that reported again because in when we use the TV or the Be Live TV app, that's working now. At least I think it is. I didn't have a show last night. I'll have to check with Polly Jo to see if she had comments. So thank you both of you for putting your comments in so I could see them. Now I just have to rearrange my table here so I can get my phone situated so I can see the comments coming in. All right, so back to the card that was drawn. I'm still using the Jamie Sams cards. Let's see, I always get that turned around here. This is the Sacred Path cards by Jamie Sams. It was published in 1999 or 1990, I forget. It was first published in 1990. And the essence of the cards in what she writes about them is still relevant today. As well as her other deck, which is the medicines cards that I also use. And I believe that deck was originally published in 1988. But the essence of the cards is what matters. And so this morning, it's about smoke signals and intent. When I was rereading the information that Jamie Sams writes about this card, I realized that we hadn't had this card in quite some time. And so since I haven't looked at the information in about a month and a half or so, there are other things, of course, that jumped out, right? The information. So she writes that here's some of the how you can tell it was published in a different decade. Some of the words she uses, the text is dated. For instance, the red race. And we haven't been called the red race in a long time. So anyway, she says the red race has understood and utilized many unspoken languages over the centuries. And that, and she names some of them, which were interesting, like reading the clouds, the movement of the animals, and the animals' cries, she calls it, their calls. And to read those, and also their movement, like in herd movement. Like I know here, my mom is always saying, so did my grandpa. He always said, my Misho, he said, watch the animals. They tell you much more than your radio will or your television will. And so, we watch the movement of the animals. We know when a big storm is coming because they'll go out and feed like in the middle of the day if the storm is coming in the evening or close, right? Yeah, and so anyway, she goes on to say that the messages in our medicine dreams is another silent language, and also the language of the heart. The language of the heart. And when I was teaching Awakening the Illuminated Heart, there's a meditation that we do. It's called the Unity Breath. It's a guided meditation. And when Drunvalo received the use of that meditation, it was through the Kogi Mamos down in South America. And they call that meditation, the silent language of the heart. And because they do a ceremony, and it's kind of like an initiation. And they're in a cave for 9 days and 9 nights, right? And with no food or water. And when they come out, it said that now they're real humans. because they're living their lives, their thoughts, everything comes from their heart. And so when I read this part from Jamie, that it reminded me of that. And so there's this other thread of commonality, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'm wondering if we're having some issues with connectivity. I don't know. Well, we'll keep going. And for those who will be joining the recorded video of this, welcome and thank you for hanging in there with us this morning. And I don't think it's my internet connection, because my camera's pretty clear, and it looks like the sound is good. So I'm going to say it's like we're still in the shadow of the Mercury retrograde, right? As it starts to move further down the path. So the smoke signals is literally, it was used in a time prior to European contact, okay? And the fires that were built were smaller fires built to use for communication, for long distance communication. And many times this was actually used more for battles and that kind of thing, from between tribal nation. And so what they would do is they would communicate. They had two different ways of communicating, and that was, hey, good morning, Elise. They had two silent methods of communication. The one was the smoke signals, and that was by using both dry and wet wood. And what they would do is they'd use a blanket or a dampened blanket or a dampened hide, and they would hold it over the fire to cover it, almost like smothering it, but not quite. And then they would lift it off, and then there would be this billow of smoke, right? And so they had a system of to interpret the meaning of the puffs of smoke that would rise, and so people could see it from a far distance, right? Yeah, that was one. And the other one, I guess they used is some sort of rope or cord, because they would make their own cording, and they would put certain knots in certain places. That was a communication, and so it was like it is a language. And so the person that the message was going to would be able to read the cord and the knots to know what was being relayed. The thing is that the runners that had these cords, many times they would be ambushed, right? And so the cord method wasn't a secure site, because they would get the information from the runner. But the smoke signal was a much more safe way of communication from a distance. And so Jamie Sams writes about that, but she also says that the smoke signals are a bridge between earth and sky. The smoke traveling from either the fire or from a pipe is the essence of our prayers in visual form, traveling to the great mystery. All our relations are put on notice that the prayers of the people are traveling to the great star nations to be heard. And so because everybody could see the smoke, they knew that there were prayers, there was communications being delivered. And she goes on to say that the smoke signals used as communications were no different than the smoke signals sent through the pipe to the great mystery. Both are unspoken languages that signal the sender's intent. And I had to stop and think about that one a little bit. And of course, there were some memories that kind of floated through as well. There was, when you're in Sweat Lodge in the Inipi, and it is the round for the Chanupa, the sacred pipe, And, and there's, depending on who's there, you could have more than one pipe being passed. And so you have the opportunity to have more than one time to state your prayers. And in this way, the smoke is not inhaled into your lungs. It's held into your mouth, and you're praying. And when you blow the smoke out, your prayers are embedded into the smoke. And so when the smoke leaves out the door, your prayers are being carried on the smoke to the Creator. Okay. And in those instances, tobacco, the way most people know tobacco to be, is not what's used in the pipes. It's called conchacha, is what's used in the pipes, and that is willow bark, and that's why you don't inhale it. Okay. That is for those Native nations west of the Mississippi. East of the Mississippi, we do use tobacco. And it is a certain kind of tobacco, because tobacco is an indigenous to Turtle Island, North America. And so we fill our pipes, and our pipes tend to look different. They can be the longer ones, but many times you'll see people using the shorter pipes, the ones that you could probably get in a store. Many people have them made specifically for them, for ceremony. And so we do use tobacco, but you don't necessarily even have to inhale it either, unless you want to. And with that, it's the same principle. You're praying, and your prayers are embedded into the smoke, and that goes up to the Creator. So there's, and I'm only telling you this because there's a misconception, I guess, is a good word. A good word is that those people who are not familiar with the use of pipes and the smoke may think that we're all using the same tobacco to fill the pipes. And even with the filling of the pipes, there's prayers. It's a ceremony to fill a pipe, and to be able to connect to all of creation in that pipe bowl. And so it's not just sitting down, filling your pipe, and sitting someplace to smoke it, in a leisurely way. This is very filled with intent, filled with prayer. And so the smoke that comes up is very sacred. It's very sacred. Yeah, I'm just going to check the chat room on my phone and see if there's any. Got to use both hands. I'm going to, I'm going to double check here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hi, guys. I'm just double checking because it looked like it had stopped for some reason. So if I could ask you guys this in the live chat, if you could comment on whether or not you can hear my voice, that would be good. And if you're having any issues on your end as listeners and watchers to the video, because if we're having problems in the live stream and listening or watching the live stream, we need to know that too. Because on my live stream, I show one person, and I know that's not right. I know that's not right. Yeah. Hey, Jane Matt. Hello. Okay. Good. It looks like I'm going to give them a couple more seconds because we have a little bit of a delay. I think it's like 5-second delay, and for them to answer. So going on with what Jamie tells us about the card that was drawn this morning, which is smoke signals. It's about intent. She says that the intent of the red race was to reclaim their right to their own knowing systems and to use their own medicine. The masks, the Kachina dolls, rattles, drums, eagle feathers, and other sacred objects had been burned by the orders of the Catholic padres in the effort for forced Christianity upon the pueblos. And she's talking about down in the Southwest, and before there was a border between Mexico and the United States, okay, that the indigenous people from that area, the tribal nations from that area, lived just in that vicinity. I mean, there was no border other than hunting and gathering territory by each of the nations. So what she's talking about here is when Spain was in what is now Mexico, and how far up that took Spain was actually into what's now the United States. And so what they did was they used the tribal nations, they used the smoke signals to be able to regain their land back. And with that, because there were many indigenous people also enslaved by the Spaniards at the time, and so they were able to free their relatives. So that's what they mean about this. And also because the Catholic Church was also there to convert, right, the indigenous people to the Christian religion. And so by doing with the intent with the smoke signals, it was twofold. One, it was in communication to each other so that they could win back their rights and their land. But they also used the smoke for prayers. And so they had spirit helping them as well, to be able to regain what she calls their knowing systems. And we call those beliefs in today's language, their beliefs. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to check the chat room. Okay. Let's see. Stephanie say, I'm getting crystal clear signal from you. Great. I'm so glad. Thank you, Stephanie. And Jane is saying, yes, sound and video is all good. Great. And she's saying, darn, autocorrect. I know. Doesn't that just frustrate you? All's good. All right. And Stephanie says, I wish I could show you where I was listening from this morning. Was it gorgeous? I bet it was beautiful. Hey, no, I'm thinking, Stephanie, do you use a drone? Maybe I'm getting you confused with someone else. Let me know, okay, if you use a drone. And Mary Anderson Fry is with us. Hey, Mary. Oh, and I bet you anything, is Elise here? And Elise is here, so that means that Mary Ann is probably listening too. Good morning, ladies. All right. So, so the smoke signals were used both in a communication from two-legged to two-legged, but also from the two-legged human to spirit. All right. And she says that the unity of one heart and one mind among the different tribes who could not speak to each other's dialect or language was accomplished through the unspoken language of the smoke signals and also the knotted ropes. So that unspoken language, right? She says that smoke signals are the language of the sky nation that relay the intent of the sender to those spirits who understand the heart's whispers. I love that sentence. The heart's whispers. The answers to the smoke signals question can be read in the faces of the cloud people. Okay. So what she's saying is that through the smoke, they would send their prayers. They would send their communication to spirit through the smoke, right? And as the smoke rose up into the air, they were they would watch the clouds and the cloud formations, um, to hear the reply or to get the information back to what they were questioning about or praying for, right? And so, of course, I had to. How could I not say this? How many of us, from childhood on, have gazed up at the clouds, those big puffy clouds, and to look for formations in it, right? You know, the puppy, the dogs, the cats, the bunnies, the birds, dragons. You know, I still do that. I mean, especially when I'm not driving. When Paul's driving, a lot of times I'm looking at the cloud formations, um, and watching them come through. How many people have done that? I bet you anything, a lot of people in the chat have done cloud watching and looking for those. Oh, Stephanie says her ex flies a drone. Yeah, I was just thinking about getting one too. You know, I want to learn. I want to learn how to pilot one of those things and to see the aerial, um, like what we were talking about the sacred sites on my show the other night. Um, and one of the pictures I showed was from an aerial view because the effigy mounds, you can make out the story of that what they're telling us, and you can only see it from the air. And so I was telling my husband that, and he goes, "Why don't you just get a drone?" It's like, hey, why didn't I think of that? So I'm checking into it. It's like I don't have anything else to do, right? But it would be fun. It'd be fun. And isn't it interesting though? You know, we look up to the clouds, for information. At first, I think as kids, as children, when we lie on our backs in the grass and we're looking up at the clouds and we're watching them float by and we're looking at the formations, right? And what we can see in them. We're reading the clouds. And and lots of times my mom would come out and she wouldn't lay on the ground, but she would look up at the clouds and we'd tell her, "Do you see that? Do you see that?" And so she would do the same thing with us. Yeah, it was a nice memory, nice memories that those watching the clouds, reading the clouds. Um, and she goes on to say about how she had an experience with reading the clouds and using the smoke signals to send a prayer. And so, I'm also thinking about those of us who like to camp, whether you're doing rough camping with a tent or if you're doing the glamping, which is unfortunately, all right. I'd rather glamp than rough camp. And so, but we both can do fires, right? Outdoor fires. And so, I was thinking I would like to try that. It looks like it takes some practice, maybe is a good word. I mean, if you have a small fire and you have a wet blanket, a damp blanket, and you put it over the fire, I think that you would need, I don't know, maybe two people to be able to lift it off and create your own communication, almost your own symbolism, right? Something like Morse code in a way. But anyway, I was thinking it would be kind of cool to try it, to see how it's done, and also, if you had your own little group, somebody could go at a distance and see if they could see it and what that's like. So anyway, this is the card for those who are just joining. It's smoke signals, intent, and the application of the card. Jamie Sams writes that smoke signals being sent your way call for clear intent. If your purpose or direction in life has been muddled, now is the time to walk your talk. Observe what it is that you are putting out and straighten up so that you will attract the kind of experience and people you want inside your sacred space. So she's using the essence of the smoke signal, because we send out non-verbal communication just by being us, our vibration, our frequency, our body language, right? um, and so what she's saying is to be aware of what kind of energy you're sending out. And if your intent isn't clear, then the others that are receiving your body language information, your communication, or even your frequency, they don't know what the heck you're talking about. So you get mixed signals, right? You get mixed signals. She says another message is a reminder from the spirit world. If you lack direction or have unclear intent as to what your needs are, the allies or spiritual allies cannot assist us with those requests. So clear intent brings rewards on all levels and will speed your growth and process. Yeah, those mixed signals, and sometimes, I don't want to say that, most times, our frequency, our vibration can be not clear. And why is that? Is because we need to do our own healing, right? And the more we heal on all aspects, our vibration gets closer and closer to our original vibration that we came in with. And so those people that have been searching for us by our vibration can find us so much easier. And when we don't do our healing and our vibration is not, is really out of tune, our song is really out of tune, those people, those two-leggeds who are supposed to be in our lives, sometimes they can't locate us because our signal, our frequency is really muddled. Yeah, and sometimes even it's hard for us to use our gifts because our innocence is interfered with all of the debris that's covering it. That debris is trauma of all kinds, and so yeah. So we have a clear signal. We can do our clearing. We can do our healing. I like this card, Smoke Signals. It's a good one. Let's see what the poem is like, and then I'm going to cover the animal who came, our animal relative. So here's Jamie Sam's poem about smoke signals. She says, sacred language, the sacred language of the sky, please speak to me, you who live where eagle flies. Spirit I can see, in the form of cloud people, coming from the fire, sacred smoke, you call me to be my desires. Let me travel skyward with a heart so true that may fly like an eagle and be close to you. Close to you. I like that. Sacred smoke, you call me to be my desires. That's good. Deep, 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 deep. So, hey, Allie's with us. Hi, good morning, Allie. And she's saying, this is so spot on in my life right now. Yeah, spirit, their communication with us is usually like that, spot on, if we're paying attention, right? If we're paying attention. So I'm going to put my phone down again because we're going to cover, this is every morning, when I do the card draw and I'm asking my spiritual team, what energy is the most important for us to know today for the highest good and that we can share, right? And then when I get that card, then I draw a card about which animal relative can come and be and help us to understand the essence of, in this case, the smoke signals card, with clarity and with depth. All right. And so this is who showed up this morning, is Eagle. Eagle. And it looks like a golden eagle here. Yeah. And eagle in this card deck represents spirit. And this is GB Sam's other deck, medicine cards. So she tells us about the medicine of the eagle, and you have to remember that she's writing from primarily her indigenous roots, which is Seneca, and that is a northeastern nation here in the United States, part of the Iroquois nation, the Haudenosaunee. That's what they call themselves. And so, but she also has experience through other nations, such as the Oceti-Sakowin, which is the Great Sioux Nation. And I also believe the Yaqui and the Cherokee, Choctaw, and I can't remember the Northwestern tribe she's got connection to. I can't remember. And so this is what she says about eagle. She says, eagle medicine is the power of the Great Spirit, the connection to the divine. It is the ability to live in the realm of spirit and yet remain connected and balanced within the realm of earth. Eagle is quick to observe expansiveness within the overall pattern of life. From the heights of the clouds, eagle is close to the heavens where the Great Spirit dwells. Okay, so that's why, many Native nations, long before the creation of the United States, eagle has always been held in very high esteem because it is the those who flies highest and the closest to the Creator, and so that's, and their feathers are what we call big medicine, and so having any aspect of the eagle in your life is not just a good thing; it is a sacred thing, more sacred than, because of their connection, their closeness to the Creator, right? And so she says that the feathers of the eagle are considered to be the most sacred of healing tools. Eagle represents a state of grace achieved through hard work, understanding, and a completion of the tests of initiation, which results in the taking of one's personal power. She also goes on to say, experiencing the lows in life as well as the highs, and through the trial of trusting one's connection to the Great Spirit, the right to use the essence of the eagle medicine is earned. And so basically she's talking about that initiation, when we go through, when we face our fears, when we do that healing, when we face our shadow selves. Yeah, all of that work, all of that healing work that we do, that when we're on the other side of that healing and we've gained the wisdom from that experience, is when she says that that we've earned the right to use an eagle feather. And so, and that's probably coming from her Seneca roots, right? And in modern day, that's taken on a little bit different connotation to it, because it's really based, many times it's based on a warrior and facing your enemy, right? And these days it has to do with the military. Although I think that we could be shifting through that again, because there's many other ways to be able to face an adversary and not be in a military mode. It can be done through a peaceful way, much like the Standing Rock water protectors have done and still doing, and facing in a way that their adversary, which are usually governments and corporations, yeah. So the use of the eagle feather. She's saying that Eagle is reminding you to take heart and gather your courage, for the universe is presenting you with an opportunity to soar above the mundane. She says that the power of recognizing this opportunity may come in the form of a spiritual test. In being astute, you may recognize the places within your soul, personality, emotions, or psyche that need bolstering or refinement. Eagle teaches you to broaden your sense of self beyond the horizon of what is presently visible. Yeah, and I think that especially in our community, in Star Nation's community, we're very well aware of our soul growth, and that everything that we experience assists us in our soul growth, because we recognize that we are spirit having a physical experience, right? And so when we're facing our opponents, which is our shadow selves, that's part of, I think, what she's referring to as the initiation. So what does that have to do with smoke signals and the communication with spirit? I really believe that it's about, when I was talking to my spiritual team, is when we're saying our prayers, whether it's for ourselves or someone else, is that to be clear in our intent. And when we're doing our own healing, is that when we're clear in our intent for that healing, that spirit can come to our aid in a clearer way. And so the healing is much more effective in many levels. And so it could be that is the grace in our healing. Because don't you do that? I do that when I'm praying for something and I need assistance with it, and I say, and for the highest good or something better, and please, as graceful as possible. Because I don't want to put myself through a healing crisis. I don't want to go through a healing crisis, and that's, and some people do that because they want it done now and they want it done as quickly as possible. I would rather go for grace and have it evolve rather than throw myself into a healing crisis that could take me, flat on my back in bed for a couple of days. Been there, done that, did not like it. Yeah. Hey, Dina Doris Frederick, thank you. She put some cloud emojis on there. Very cool. Thank you. Yeah, and so Jamie says that in learning to fiercely attack your personal fear of the unknown, the wings of your soul will be supported by the ever-present breezes which are beneath the Great Spirit. She says, feed your body, but more importantly, feed your soul within the realm of Mother Earth and Grandfather Sky. Grandmother Earth, Grandfather Sky. The dance that leads to flight involves conquering of fear and willingness to join in the adventure that you're co-creating with the divine. So in other words, when we ask and make our prayers known, and our intention is clear through those prayers, that we're co-creating with both Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky, because we're the divine child, right? And in order for that healing to take place, whenever we heal ourselves, we change our vibration, right? We get closer to our original vibration. And it's also that ripple effect. So we shift the energy around us. And in order to manifest it on the physical plane, on the earth plane, it's up to us to do that grounding of that healing work on the physical plane. And my suggestion, reminder, is that when you intentionally ground that experience to the earth plane, is to intend it to be grounded to the fourth dimension earth. because that's where Grandmother Earth is residing and moving into the fifth. So that's just a gentle reminder. She also says that you're being put on notice to reconnect with the element of air. Air is on the mental plane, and in the instance, it is of the higher mind. So what she's referring to right here is that, yes, we're talking because the cloud people, they reside in the sky, which is for us is the air clan and spirit of the air. And with the spirit of the air, that is about our mental thoughts, our mental mind. And so what she's saying is that when she's talking about the eagle, and in this instance, the smoke signal, here's eagle again, the smoke signal, we're actually referring to our higher mind. Our higher mind. That's the part of us is we're looking for and searching for spirit within the things that we read, our thoughts. We're the ones that may have a lower vibrational thought, and we catch it and we say to our team, our spiritual team, delete that last thought, delete it. And then we replace it with a higher vibrational thought. That's our higher mind. Does that make sense? I hope so. She says that eagle teaches you to look higher and to touch grandfather's sun with your heart, to love the shadow as well as the light. Eagle medicine is the gift we give to ourselves to remind us of the freedom of the skies. Eagle asks you to give yourself permission to legalize freedom and to follow the joy your heart desires. So, what does that have to do with smoke signals? Our communication. Because she also mentions in the smoke signals is that the prayers, the communication is lifted up into the Creator through the smoke. And that eagle then takes it to the Creator. Okay. So the eagle is our emissary. Eagle medicine. And so when we do our prayers, and we can actually ask eagle to please come to assist us and to take our prayers to the highest point, which is the Creator. And we have to be clear in our intent, in our communication, in our prayers. Make sense? I'm checking the chat. Of course, I could do this then, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So, today, as we have our day unfold for us, just be aware of how the energy is flowing. And this information that we shared this morning about smoke signal and the eagle, how do you see that? Do you witness it coming to you? Are you a direct participant in it? Is just to notice that. Because this was the information, the energy that we wanted to know about for the highest good today. So how is it going to unfold for us? To watch it happen, right? Sense it, feel it. Yeah. So I say this every morning, is that take what resonates with you. Anything that you heard today in our conversation is just, if it felt good, if it resonates with you, then hold on to that piece. If you found something that you didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Let's let it go. And I always say that possibly that you're the messenger, that maybe someone who could benefit from the information, and you just share it with them. Maybe you're the messenger. Yeah. And with that, please join us tonight for Nature Adventures with my co-host, Minnie Kansman. We're on at 8 p.m. Eastern. at the fan page for Nature Adventures, and we're going to send out the show reminders and all of that. But it's our premiere show, and so please join us. I'd like to see you guys in the chat. It's always good to see those familiar names and comments and that sort of thing. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's card draw. Okay. We're going to say Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Have a good day, everybody.